All right, let's talk about something that can feel, well, a little intimidating: royalty administration. It's one of those behind-the-scenes processes that can literally make or break a music business. Get it right, and you build trust and financial clarity. Get it wrong, and it's a mess. So we're gonna break it all down. Let's jump right in.
So let's start with a really direct question, and I want you to be honest with yourself. When you think about your royalty operation, does it feel like a well-oiled machine? Or does it feel more like an accident just waiting to happen? A ticking time bomb, maybe? Let's figure it out.
Okay, first up, let's do a quick diagnostic. Think of this as a self-assessment for your whole operation. I'm gonna run through 5 common signs of trouble. And as I do, just, mentally check off how many of these sound painfully familiar. Okay, number 1, a simple question. Like, hey, what's this artist's recoupment balance? Does that take you days to answer? Is it a frantic scavenger hunt every time? Number 2, statement periods. Is it a calm, predictable process? Or is it a complete all-hands-on-deck fire drill every single quarter? Be honest. How about this one? You send statements out, and then you have to send corrections. Does that happen a lot? Next, let's talk about unallocated revenue. Is that cash just sitting in a suspense account for months and months? And finally, the classic, and this one is huge, is all the important knowledge, all the know-how, stuck in one person's brain. The royalty guru? What on earth happens if they win the lottery and disappear? So, how'd you do on that little quiz? If you found yourself nodding along to, say, 3 or more of those, look, the problem is real. It's a structural issue. But, and this is the important part, you are definitely not alone. This is an incredibly common problem in the music business, and it actually happens for a very, very specific reason. And that reason? Well, it all comes down to what we can call the infrastructure gap. This is really the root cause. It's why so many smart, well-intentioned music companies end up in this constant state of, chaos. Let's look at how this happens. It's a pretty typical story, right? First, you sign an artist. Everyone's excited. It's all about the music. Then you go into production and release, getting the music out there. But see that little window of time right there? Between the release and the moment the first checks start rolling in? That is the infrastructure window. It's the golden opportunity to get your system set up. But what usually happens? Nothing. People wait until the money arrives, and by then, it's already too late. You're playing catch-up from day one. And this really gets to the heart of it. You can't backfill financial clarity. It's like trying to pour the foundation after you've already built the house. It just doesn't work. When you're trying to figure out all the rules and splits after the money is already flowing, you are basically just asking for errors, delays, and eventually a painful audit. This stuff has to be done proactively, period. Okay, so if we all agree that the when is so incredibly important, that leads to the next big question, right? Who? Who is actually responsible for making sure this happens? Well, the most effective way to handle this is with what you could call a hub-and-spoke model. You've got all these different people who need to provide input, right? Legal and business affairs have the contracts, A&R knows the creative context of the deal, finance and ops handle the data. But all of that information, all those spokes, they have to feed into one central hub, a single process owner. This isn't a team project in terms of accountability. One person has to own it. It's really that simple. You've got multiple inputs, but you absolutely need one owner. Because without that single point of accountability, things just fall through the cracks. Assumptions get made, and pretty soon you've got a system that just can't be trusted. If you want financial clarity, you need crystal clear ownership. All right, so we've covered the when, that critical infrastructure window, and the who, that single process owner. Now let's get into the how. How do you actually take a dense, complicated legal contract and turn it into a correct cash payment to an artist? This is really the critical workflow. First things first, you have to map every single type of revenue to the specific calculation method in the contract. Step 2, you apply the correct methodology. Is it PPD for physical? Is it net receipts for streaming? You can't just guess, they're totally different. Then you calculate all the other splits, producer points, any other participants, and finally, and this is so important, before a single cent goes out the door, you have to check the recoupment status. Are they unrecouped? You have to know. And while you're doing all that, this has to be your mantra. No shortcuts, no averages, no close enough. Seriously, a contract is a legally binding document. It's not a list of friendly suggestions. There is absolutely no room for winging it or using averages just to get it done faster. It has to be precise, every single time. And here's exactly why that matters so much. Because every tiny deviation from the contract, every little shortcut, equals a potential audit finding. You are literally just creating a roadmap for an auditor to find problems. And that leads to expensive settlements, legal fees, and maybe worst of all, a complete breakdown of trust with your artists. So, okay, we've established this is complex and the stakes are super high. This brings every music business to a major crossroads, a really big strategic choice. Do you try to build a perfect system to do this in-house? Or do you buy that expertise by bringing in an outside partner? At its core, the decision really boils down to a classic trade-off. On one hand, you have full control, right? The desire to keep the entire process under your own roof. And on the other hand, you have specialized expertise, the ability to tap into a partner who does nothing but this all day, every day. So let's break this down with a simple grid. Think about two things: the volume of royalties you process and the complexity of your deals. If you're in that bottom left corner, low volume, low complexity, yeah, keeping it in-house can work just fine. But look what happens as you move. If you have really high volume, even with simple deals, you might need to outsource just to handle the sheer scale. If your deals are super complex, but the volume is low, maybe a hybrid model works, where you do some and a partner does some. But if you're up in that top right corner, high volume and high complexity, honestly, outsourcing to a specialist is almost always going to be your smartest bet. And here's a really important thought I want you to hold on to. Doing royalties badly in-house isn't better than doing them well through a partner. Let me say that again. Doing it badly yourself isn't some kind of victory. There's no award for we tried really hard. The goal is accuracy, protection for your business, and fairness for your artists. Whatever path gets you there is the right path. Phew, we have covered a ton of ground, from spotting the warning signs to making that big build versus buy decision. But none of this matters if it just stays as an idea, right? Insight without action is, well, it's useless. So let's talk about what you can do like this week. And look, the key here is not to try and fix everything at once. Don't try to boil the ocean. Just pick one small, manageable thing. So here are three options. First, on the foundation level, just pull one artist contract this week. That's it. And just map out its calculation rules. Or on processing, sketch out your revenue pipeline and just find one spot where you know validation is weak or missing. Or finally, foresight. Go back to that 5-point checklist from the beginning and just be brutally honest with yourself about where you really stand. The goal here isn't to get paralyzed trying to design some perfect, flawless system from scratch. Just start somewhere. Making one small, real improvement is so much better than having some grand plan that never actually happens. Seriously, progress always beats perfection. And really, that's the final thought I want to leave you with. You have a choice. Are your royalties going to be a constant burden, a source of risk and anxiety? Or are they going to be a strategic advantage, a tool that builds trust and helps you run a smarter business? Because ultimately, that choice is yours. All right, that's what we've got for you today. Thanks so much for tuning in.